While we wait for the new Forza Horizon rumored to be announced at the Microsoft event this July, I thought I would make you guys a quick comparison video between the last 3 parts of the franchise, as they are all currently available on the Xbox One and they are a blast to play. What's up everyone and welcome to a new video. My name is Omar with Real Gamer Review, and today we're doing a comparison between Forza Horizon 2, 3 and 4. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and liking the video and turn on the bell icon to watch more videos like this one. Before we dive in, I'd just like to say that this is not a review of the 3 installments, but rather a detailed comparison that might help you make up your mind on which part to purchase if you own only one of them, or even if you haven't tried the franchise at all. I wanted to add part 1 to the comparison, but unfortunately I couldn't get my hands on it. All 3 games are running on Xbox One X, so all the details that I'll be giving through the video are for the enhanced versions that are supported only on the X devices. In my opinion, all 3 games look good by 2020 standards, although Forza Horizon 2 lacks 4K and HDR support, but the in-game world and the car's details still look pretty solid. Naturally, if you put all 3 games side by side, you'll notice a difference, and that the newer parts are visually enhanced compared to the older ones. Let's break this down in detail to be able to cover most of the aspects of all 3 games. When it comes to the resolution, as I previously mentioned, Part 3 and 4 can run at 4K with HDR support, although Part 4 has a slight advantage since you can run it at 60 frames per second. But it comes at the cost of resolution, as it goes down from 4K to 1080p if you choose the higher frame rate option. Now for Forza Horizon 2, it's capped at 1080p 30 frames per second on Xbox One, even if you're playing it on Xbox One X. This aspect looks excellent in all 3 games, but of course the 4K option in parts 3 and 4 gives a slight advantage, as you can see more detail in both of those installments. All 3 games have a cosmetic damage option with an actual damage option that can be turned on from the options menu, although there is a noticeable difference in the model between all 3 games, with parts 3 and 4 a bit more similar to each other and what looks like a slightly different damage engine in part 2. I personally preferred the model in Forza Horizon 2 as it looked a bit more realistic to me. And if you look closely, you will see that the front light's glass will actually break. As for Forza Horizon 3 and 4, it will only have cracks no matter how hard or how many times you crash the car. You'll also notice that the cars get bigger and deeper dents when it comes to Forza Horizon 2, and even though in parts 3 and 4 the cars get dents, they are not as big as in Forza Horizon 2. What are your thoughts on this, guys? Which damage do you think looks more realistic? All 3 games have dynamic weather conditions, with a slight advantage to Forza Horizon 4 as it has a slight upgrade having the addition of snow, unless you have the expansion pack for Forza Horizon 3 called Blizzard Mountain, which actually only contains snow conditions and it is not part of the original game but a paid expansion. All 3 games have very realistic rain visuals, but they differ from one game to another, with Forza Horizon 3 having the most realistic when it comes to the amount of rain, but I'm not a big fan of it as I feel it is slightly distracting, as sometimes I focus on the raindrops while playing more than the racing. As for the rain animation itself, I would say it moves more realistically in Forza Horizon 4 as it reacts to the car's movement, and that is why it's my favorite between all 3. As I mentioned earlier, there is an addition of snow in Forza Horizon 4 as this particular part works differently compared to the other 2. After playing part 4 for a bit and progressing to a certain point, the game puts you on some sort of a roster that changes the season inside the game automatically every week in real world time. So every week of playing the game you will have a different season, and of course winter includes snow. And this effect is not only visual but also physical, as it affects the handling of the cars, and some lakes get totally frozen in the game and you can even drive on them. All 3 games are very close to each other when it comes to the driving physics and handling, with 3 and 4 almost identical and 2 being slightly different, but still, you will feel that it is very similar and you will get the hang of it quickly. Although the Forza Horizon series is an arcade racing game, it is not the kind of game that you can floor the gas pedal and drift every corner you meet. Yes, it is an arcade racing game, but still it keeps some relevance to realistic driving. Not to the extent of sim racing games, but still it didn't go arcadey all the way to the Need for Speed franchise style. They managed to maintain a really good balance of both worlds, which in my opinion is one of the best handling in racing games that I played. Not that I dislike other games out there, but Forza Horizon managed to give me a great balance between fun racing while keeping decent amount of realism. All three games have a progress level that comes in numbers. You increase your number as you progress, with each batch of numbers having a different color, naming, and shape between all three games. So basically the same concept but with slight differences and upgrades in the designs between all three games. As for the car list, Forza Horizon always had crazy amounts of cars, with the list expanding with every installment. Having 200 plus cars with Forza Horizon 2, and that number increased to 300 plus in Forza Horizon 3, and it increased again to a crazy 400 plus list of cars in Forza Horizon 4. So whatever type of car you're a fan of, you'll probably find it in these games. As for the race types, the Forza Horizon series have always had a good amount of variety of race types, which also increased with every installment. Race types varies between normal races, street racing, and off-roads. One of the famous racing options that the Forza Horizon series have is the showcase events, in which you get to race against totally different types of vehicles like planes, hovercrafts, trains, and more. So mainly Forza Horizon series is about a big festival that racers from all around the world get to participate in, and that includes of course a number of different types of races scattered all around the maps. Forza Horizon 2 was located between France and Italy, which you can travel between in a pretty big map. Forza Horizon 3 moved the festival site to Australia in an even bigger map, with the additions of multiple festival sites throughout the map. The map included desert, city, and forest locations, with the addition of some beaches and the introduction of the drive-through water animations for the first time. Next, in Forza Horizon 4, the festival moved to the UK, but they reverted back to having only one festival location on the whole map. But at the same time, they introduced a new feature of buying multiple houses in various locations that you can drive to purchase new cars or modify and customize your current list of cars, and amongst other things. Speaking of the customization, all three games include pretty solid car customization features, with two options of either doing an automatic upgrade that the game will choose all the correct upgrades for you to increase your car's class and to make it faster of course, and all you have to do is just pay the bill. But if you are a customization enthusiast, there is a second option where you can customize almost everything in the car with much more details. Another note for people who like racing games that include a story, this one actually doesn't, unfortunately. All they have to offer is the festival that I've mentioned before, which will be introduced to you at the beginning of each game, and there is some sort of an assistant that will talk you through the different race types and some important info throughout the game, and when you make some achievements too. Other than that, there is no story whatsoever. Another thing worth mentioning is the difficulty, as these games are not only about changing the difficulty for the other AI players, but everything you change in the options increases the difficulty and increases your points gain with every race you win. For example, if you turn off the ABS and the traction control, you will get around a 10% increase in your points gain with every race or event. This option kind of makes sense, as the people playing the game on hardcore mode with everything off will get a faster progress in the rankings throughout the game. Another new feature worth mentioning that was added to Forza Horizon 4 is the avatar customization. There are a few templates you can choose from with a lot of options for the outfit customizations. Of course, since all the other aspects of all three games are good, so it would be expected that the music and the audio are on a pretty similar level. I won't be able to put the music in the video, but what I can say is there are multiple radio stations in all three games that you can choose from, and I'm pretty sure that they will suit most tastes out there. As for the environment and car's audio, I will leave you now to listen to some of the ambient noises and sounds from each game and be the judge of which installment did it better. Before reaching the end of this video, there are a couple of things I'd like to mention. There are different expansions for each installment of these games, but this is another story that I won't have the time to discuss. But if you like this video, let me know by liking or commenting, and I will make a separate one comparing the expansions for each installment. I didn't mention each and every aspect of all 3 games in this video, as the Forza Horizon installment include tons of things to do, but instead I chose the main ones that I thought are the most important from my point of view. Well, since we're at it, I will sum up my thoughts on those 3 games and which one I think is the best. I actually don't have a favorite. I think all 3 installments are great and each one has a slightly different mood and feel, and I still enjoy playing them all in 2020. But that's just me, guys. I would like to hear what you think about the Forza Horizon franchise and which installment is your favorite. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to watch more videos like this one.